Hello, greeting. My name is Gabriel Ndikon, Chairman, Founder of the Charity Medical Foundation and IE Inc. I will be talking today about globe ecology and the correlation between quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and theology. And I'm also going to be talking about forgiveness, anger, compassion, and vengeance. Suffering and love. That is the main essence of the entire uh, Bible sequence, exclusively the New Testament. Let's start first with globe ecology. With my experience as an environmental health and environmentalist professional with a high background in lighting distribution and environmental um, safety that I earned when I was in the military, biohazard, chemical war, hazard protection, war against terrorism. Those are stuff that I learned. So the main thing that I got from it was that the safety of people is very important, or the safety of every worker is also very important. So plus I have earned ideas that certain people still do not wanted to accept, which is okay. I'm working on combined master BS, and I'm wrapping up that very shortly. Uh, and I'm working more forward with my doctorate. And I wanted to spend more time there too. While following up with my the next education after the master, because obviously it is well described that I have earned and worked harder for my MS, and it is up to me to show my intellectual ability to continue with that with my education goal. Um, there is a sequence in which I wanted to say, always want to say, that if people believe, at this point, I'm just going to let them believe whatever they believe. If people believe whatever they believe, let's say the hypothesis is true, I would like them to find someone who meet that hypothesis and let them obtain, or let him obtain, or her obtain, or that person obtain a master in biostatistics with high emphasis in mathematics, applied statistics, and high emphasis in biology and also epidemiology. And I'll see if that person will be able to do that. But therefore, moving on. Uh, I am getting a second one again, like I stated, in the same scope of study that I wanted to do in my life. Therefore, now I wanted to go forward and say this. I am very praying for every leaders, exclusively to our president here, and even my everybody who came after me. Because as I learned from resources, um, forgiveness is greater than anger, and compassion is more powerful than vengeance. I will explain all those forward um, in correlation with theology and the practicality of what we're doing today, and also how it does interfere with daily life. Now, I want to go forward to say this. I do not want to uh, make fun of people or try to come personally against anyone. But I have that tendency that people are still making fun of me, and I remember a scene when I went to a place and people were like, when I left the place, people were asking, "Is that the same guy?" And I just say, "Well, it's probably not the guy that they describe as you believe he should look like. They was inspecting somebody who gonna be smelly or dirty face or whatever they were inspecting. But only Yahweh know how he does stuff, and they were surprised. They have to ask the question if I was the same person that they were described in the conspiracy behind the scene around the community. But it's all fine. All praise to them, and God give them wisdom to save them from that path that I believe is not really correct. Now, I want to say this. I have a professor he told us a story. Okay, he was a professor of philosophy, and he always go back late because he have to study and do all the stuff. And Gangster, in his path, always see him walking around, going back home with a suitcase, and they saw somebody wearing suit and suitcase and thinking that there's money on it. And then one day they decided we're gonna have to rob this guy. This is enough. So they came to him, three guys, and said, "Hey, sir, you're gonna have to give us your suitcase right now. At this point, we're gonna have to take everything that is inside." They tried to brutalize him. He didn't respond, and he said one phrase: "My dear fellow and citizen, I am afraid that you might be committing a crime for free." You know, it didn't take long. Not all gangsters uh, are ignorant. It didn't take long for one of them to say, "You know what, let him go. He's a professor." You know, I mean, there was nothing in that suitcase other than paperwork. All right, there was nothing on it. "I'm afraid that you might be committing a crime for free, for no reason." So they let him go. And when he was going, they started laughing because he was the funny time. They never had something like that, you know. So what I'm trying to say here, you guys are continuing to look after me or whatever you're doing, look stuff and coming in and try to read my stuff, personal stuff, holding my personal affairs. I want to say this: you are a victim, with all respect, of your own imagination, of your own conscience. You are the victim of your own conscience. There is no one, I, living in this place or somewhere, who are reaching any bad luck for anyone. So there's no reason. That's a waste of time. You are committing a crime for no reason. That's what I'm trying to say. For no reason. Just simply victim of your own conscience. And I have to suffer from that ignorance. That's the point. Now let's move on to the correlation between quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and theology. Pretty much in theology, yes. Now, I wanted to praise Yahweh through Jesus Christ, giving me this wisdom that I have today as an environmental health and community health guy, professional advocate, and willing to bring up the word in the right place. I wanted to say this is for the first time. I am not a president. I am not a priest, pastor, imam, or a holy Jewish personnel. I am not somebody with title. I'm just Gabriel N. Dicon, the chairman and founder of the Charity Medical Foundation. But I wanted to tell you this revelation. When I started this, since I was young, when I started this, since I opened this agency, now the Holy Spirit, through the great Yahweh, has revealed this. My mission from now on to the day I leave this planet, I will be working alone to bring an effort to prepare the way for Jesus Christ to return. I just gonna start. I am one of the chosen one. There's many other, as I was told, that will do the same thing. Just start. You will not finish it. You're just gonna start. The incoming new world that will be coming, maybe not in our existence, but I will start it. And I don't know other. Like I was told, I also have the same had the same Holy Spirit message. Our work will be emphasized to promote wealth, health, safety, and prosperity for every single person, including the poor. This is the way God created human being in the first time, in the first place, to have that sort of life. Wealth, health, peace, safety for every single individual in this earth, including the poor. My mission will be that, to ensure that despite any position I might have in this earth, that will be my primary work that God wants me to do in this earth. I'm welcoming everyone. I wish the support of the Pope, Pope Francis, and other people who have the same trend. I don't know yet the people, other people that were mentioned, but I was told that in the right time they will come forward in the right time, sometime in the future. So there are many of them. I was not told the names. There are many of them other than I. This is not a joke. This is not a fabrication that somebody gonna wake up tomorrow. I can also do that. No. This is a pure work. When I started this, it was my own inspiration. It was something that came to me through my inner ability and inner resolve. So now, through my suffering and love for what I do, the Holy Spirit has spoken, Yahweh, about what was actually the intended mission. So my work will be that. I will devote my time to prepare the way for Jesus Christ's return. So he will certainly return, and I will tell you that more in deep. Now let's go to the correlation between quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and theology. I will be very, very clear that people have to come to my ideology today, because it's a Holy Spirit ideology, to come and support me to move this agenda forward, God agenda forward. This is not the creation of the church. This is just my mission as a chosen person between other many around the world. I will do my best to get it done. Now, whatever person, either is Bill Gates, either is President Obama, either is any actor or actress, or whatever person, people that I have contacted before, it is time for them to come and join this effort, because this is God wish, and this is the preparation for the new world coming. Why people have to be concerned? because everybody will see that day, even people who died before. So whatever you're doing today will have an impact of what is coming in their new world. What will be your place? What will be your happiness? It will be determined by that. So that's the reason why I'm asking people to come forward. This is not an invention. This is the truth. And I'm not doing this to be rich. I'm not doing this to have money. No, 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 no. When I started this agency, I started with my own money, and I'm still putting my own money on this. So if you ask anyone that no one have donated any money to me at this point. If somebody have done it, I want him to go to CNN and state his name so I can be arrested. So I can clearly tell you my work here is supported by God at this point, in Jesus Christ and myself. So that's what it is. But my main mission is what I stated earlier. And I'm looking the support of everyone holy, not temptation, because whatever will come with temptation, we'll have to face God himself. Don't come to me with temptation. This is the pure holy work. The person who will come to me with temptation will find out what's going on. So this is just to move forward to really rebuke Lucifer himself. Now, I'm going back to the correlation between quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and theology. Last week, what I said about the particles or God particle. Now I'm talking about quantum particles. Why are they called quantum particles in quantum mechanics? It's because they have an atomic mass. Genesis and the Bible say this. The first thing that God have done before anything else, he said this, let be light. Light was the first thing before every single thing. Before that, it was all darkness. Everything was dark. Everything was dark except where heaven was, except where God resided. Everything else was dark. In that darkness, there were what we call quantum particles. So now, what is light? Light is a force that brings elements of atoms to bound very well to the nucleus of the atoms and form an atoms bounded together form molecules, and those molecules bounded together form a visible particles and material that we can see. So now, when God said in Genesis, let be light, that was the beginning. So those particles start getting combined together. So now I am explaining the invisible by the facts of science, because that was done by those entities that we can see. Those are energy that are out there that Yahweh used to do his work. Those are the entities that all the high level spiritual person elite use. The angel, all of those people, they use it for the right cause, for the good of people, not for this destruction like Lucifer is doing. So now when he say let be light, the light came. That's the first thing. How do people knew about that other than being informed by God himself? So when light came, those particles, quantum particles, elements of the atoms tied well together with the nucleus of the atoms, and those atoms got combined together to form molecules. Molecule is the combination of atoms. And then a visible particle is the combination of molecules. So invisible particles include quantum particles in a very micro or nano level. So that's where those asteroids came from the particles that started together, bounded as an atoms, atom bounded as molecules, and start forming small particles that formed a magnetic force to create asteroids. And those asteroids start creating magnetic force to attract each other and start forming planets. But it was done. It cannot be done in that kind of shape if there was not an invisible work done. It cannot be revealed yet. That work is that's why I call glometricology, because it's the study of metaphysics and the absolute energy, the absolute power, the infinite power. That's how the universe was created. And this is the truth. All the quantum physics and quantum mechanics guys, they are scientists or engineer, they can go out there, they'll tell you that what I'm saying is completely true. But it cannot be proved by them other than what I just explained. So you can see the correlation between quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and theology and the Bible. So the Bible that you see is the most scientific, engineering, philosophical, psychological, mechanical, electrical, all chemical, physical book that you have never seen. You just have to read it closely to understand a lot of principle. Let be light. That's what it was. But what kind of light? It was a kind of different sort of light. Because the energy that I described, the absolute power, the absolute energy, that's the energy that God himself have. The energy that God have is powerful than the energy of the sun. It means that if they take you as a human being and they take you and they put you in front of the sun, the energy of God himself is powerful than that energy when it comes to that form. I mean, as a human being. Even the spirit body cannot really even the spirit body, which is also an energy, cannot be comfortable around that other energy because it's too powerful. Okay, so now let me explain this. People have confusion. Now I will be talking about the creation and the correlation between the most of the major religion in the world and what I was told by the divine being Yahweh about that. And also I'll be talking about the rank and the position of every person that we have never known in the Bible and the position in heaven. Let me talk about it now. When God created Adam, the descendant, Enoch, Noah, Abraham. When Abraham had Isaac and Jacob, Isaac and Ishmael, or Ishmael and Isaac, I wanted to really be clear about that. That's the beginning of the human trend. That's where everybody came from. Okay, that's the beginning of the human trend. But the spirit get bounded to have a certain characteristic that distinguish them from other spirit. He blesses Isaac, the chosen one, and he also blesses Ishmael very well. But in order for him to control, to help them understand him, he have to come up with a religion that satisfy both spirit. When Ishmael was born, he was born he was a strong guy. He was teach how to fight by his father Abraham. He was teach how to um, to hunt. He was teach a lot of stuff. You know, how to survive, how to be a tough man, how to fight. You know, how to defend himself, not fight. I want to say that clearly. Defend himself, okay, and how to be a hunter, somebody who can survive through endurance. And Isaac was instead a wiser person. He was, I mean, when I say wiser person, he was more. Ishmael was also wiser, but the wiseness that I'm talking about here is that he was more a theological, philosophical guy. You know, he was not too much into hunting. Know the technique how to fight himself, and there was a reason for it. There was a reason for it because God knew what would be coming. When Ishmael was born, he was born before Isaac. So God knew that in some point Ishmael gonna have to survive by himself. And because he also want him to be well, and he decided that that's gonna be the way for him. And Isaac, compared to Isaac, uh, who was more a guy interested to philosophy, theology, more of self faith to his God, and follow the guidance so that thing can go well. So that was the case. So that's where the preparation came from to Christianity today. Christianity was the best path for the people of Israel. I mean, even you want to talk today about the Judaism. Judaism started during that time. That was the old practice of religion. That started from Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and to Moses, who wrote the Ten Commandments. That was the Torah. That was the Old Testament. Okay, that was the Old Testament. But between Israel, you have the Jew, and then you have the Israelite, which are composed of Christian and other religion, including the Jew who follow Judaism, the Old Testament, the Torah. Now, they don't want to call it a form of Christianity, but it's still close to that. Is that the only difference between Judaism and Christianity is that their law is more intense. It's more intense, and it's more strict compared to the teaching that Jesus Christ brought, to this earth. Now, when you go back, what was the religion? Because God didn't want to let, he didn't forget about Ishmael. What was the religion that would fit better with Ishmael? The endurance that he have. He was teach how to defend. He was a self-made guy. He knew how he can survive by himself. He survived by himself in the desert with his mother, and the only religion was Islam. That's the religion in which his spirit and the spirit of his descendant would adhere more better. And that's where Islam came from. So after God has finished with Israel, with the generation of Isaac to Jesus Christ, he went back to Ishmael and have another prophet there, which is Muhammad, who came in to implant that religion to the descendant of Ishmael, because that religion, Islam, is more linked to the spirit and the way he teaches and educated his generation, the way he grew up, the endurance, holy fighter, they knew how to do commerce. That's the way he was raised, the way he suffered in the desert, the way he saw life. That was the religion. So every spirit combination have a characteristic that distinguish him or distinguish that spirit with another spirit. Now, when you go to Buddhism that China practice today, that's another form. Buddhism was used long time ago. It's even one of the oldest. People were using it. It was not called Buddhism until Buddha came. Meditation, but they were doing that with other gods, and it's until the generation of Enoch, Noah came, that they start finding about that only God, because they were only doing meditation and prayer with only one God, but other people were practicing, So, but Buddhism, that's what they're using, because Buddhism is another form of energy that is out there. But that energy is focused on yourself. It means that you are the one to determine your own future, your own destiny, through endurance and through suffering. And you also have to love. But they believe in a supreme energy that are out there, and they are the center of the universe, that they are the one who have to transform their own way of life, which is not really different, very different from the teaching of Jesus. When you look the New Testament, what Jesus have done when he came in, he had to serve other religion to understand how he can infiltrate his teaching compared to what the spirit of people on earth already have in their mind, so that it can well be implemented and well be understood by people. So he came and said that supreme energy you're talking about is actually the Father, is God. Okay? He started talking about, compassion. If somebody slap you, give him the other side so he can slap it again. That's kind of forgiveness, So that's why the Chinese are using, and that's why they also, if you use that energy in a good way for people well. I don't want to go to politics because men are egocentric. They're doing stuff sometimes. You can there's tyranny in all countries. It just depends on the level of it. So we can really condemn the way that people are doing their own business. But I'm talking about religion here at this point. So that's why they're progressing, because they're using that energy in a very good way. They're transforming the inner self for the progress of the nation. But who control that energy? It's God. And Jesus is God. So now you have when people are telling me about suffering, that they look in the Bible. They look into the Bible, and the only thing they see is Jesus Christ came here, he died for us in a cross, so that he can so that all our sin can be erased. Well, let me explain very well the way I was told by the Holy Spirit, God Yahweh, and Jesus himself. This is the way it is. You don't have to visualize God like people always want to visualize him or see Jesus. Everything is the certain code. You have to be able to suffer to understand him, to go to your inner self and inner resolve yourself to understand yourself, to change yourself and change the environment that you in. If you don't do that, you will never gonna know them. You're never gonna know God very well or Jesus very well. Joseph, the son of Jacob, who went to um, to Egypt. That was another form of teaching that God wanted to put in place, but it was not the right time. He started the teaching of Jesus, but it was not the right time. It was too tough for that teaching to go in people's mind. He did his best, like I'm doing today when I'm talking about I was choosing revealed by God that I need to implement this work. People are going to be looking at me like crazy. Oh man, what you think? Yes, I understand. Lucifer will not let me live. He gonna want me gone. He gonna do everything for people to hate me more and destroy me. And I know that. But I was told, go forward and the Holy Spirit gonna do the rest. And that's what I'm doing. Okay? So I already know that. Now, when Yosef spoke about forgiveness is greater than anger, compassion is more powerful than vengeance. Why do somebody who was born, who's actually Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, he's a sixth generation. Why does he spoke stuff like that before even Jesus Christ arrived? You know? But that person, that Joseph suffered enormously from lie. People, lie about him, and he suffered, went to jail, came out, and God raised him from the bottom, from wherever he was to a very high level. So that was the form of teaching God wanted to grow in. But when he died, unfortunately, the generation that followed the Pharaoh didn't follow this that teaching, and they decided to go their own way. That's why the Jews went back to slavery. Went to slavery. They were not even slaves. I mean, that's how they entered the slavery stage, because they refused at the time to follow the teaching of Joseph. And Joseph was even died in Egypt, and his body was there in Egypt. And when he died, his teaching that was similar to the teaching that Jesus Christ is doing today also died, because he was part of the elite class. The Pharaoh at the time were respecting the Jew. Normally they have a good life. They were well classified. But when Joseph died, the people who follow decided to, put the Jews in slavery. That's the reason why God came back and said, okay, because you refuse to go forward with the teaching of Joseph, who saved your economy for a generation and make you prosperous, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to send someone in your own house who will revolt against you and defeat you. That's what God did. So he sent Moses. And Moses came and did his job and defeated the Pharaoh and freed the Jews from there, and leaving the place. Just to testify what I'm saying, Moses said, do not forget the body of Joseph. So they took the body of Joseph along with them. So because that was a disappointment too. So this is the point. God might not be subject to time like some people say it, but really he's not subject to time. He needs level. His level is very high compared to our level, but he's subject to time here on earth because he won. That's the reason why he created this time-space planet, because he won time to resolve problem itself. Time will resolve problem itself. Time will bring the truth. Time will lay out his work. That's what time is very important. Time is very important. Um, so when I've seen people looking at the Bible, looking at the Torah, looking at the Quran, or looking at the Buddhist book, holy book, they have the tendency of not comprehending this. Jesus Christ didn't only came in this earth to save us. He came here to show us the way. What is the way? Follow suffering, and still, when you're suffering, you still have to have compassion for others and still love. That is the real essence behind the New Testament. Suffering and love. But he didn't do that suffering and sacrifice for us directly. He was indirectly. He did it for God. So he gave it to God and let God determine the faith of earth. He didn't have that authority to determine the faith. Jesus Christ didn't have the authority to determine the faith of earth, only God. So that's why he gave his blood. The Last Supper. Listen that tape very closely. Read it again in the Bible. I say again, I'm not a theologist. My inspiration comes directly from Yahweh. He gave his blood and body to God. So it was what does it mean? It means that only God have to determine the faith of this earth. Jesus have done his part. He will have the compensation that he earned. But now God have to determine the faith of earth based on his own sacrifice and love that he have done for God. The thing that people are forgetting, all those people who have known God, who have the name in the Bible, they have one common denominator. That common denominator is called suffering and endurance. Suffering. They all increase a covenant with God through suffering. If you go with Enoch, suffering. You go at Abraham, suffering, during his suffering in the desert, walking around from Egypt to wherever he was camping by himself, suffering, not eating. That's where you discover that's where you are in a state of vulnerability, where you can accept everything because you want to survive. That's where God wanted to see if you really is true believer. Not when you're sitting there with all the money, you have everything. Oh, yes, I love God. Let's put the church in my house. No, you don't fool him. You're fooling yourself. Okay? Isaac, the same thing. Jacob, the same thing. Suffering. Joseph, the same thing. Through suffering. Moses, the same thing. When he flee from the Pharaoh, when he killed that Egyptian in the desert, that's where God spoke to most of those folks during the suffering. That's what they discovered. Some of them, that's where they went to heaven. That's where they get all the teaching, all the secret code, what they have to say, what they have to use. The Bible don't going to tell you everything, of course. You're not prepared for it. You have to go wherever is suitable so you can peace can be maintained on earth. So that's the point. Jesus Christ, before he started before the New Testament started, what Jesus Christ have done. After, before he even went anywhere, when he reached the age of 33, nobody knows where Jesus Christ was, but Jesus Christ was studying all sorts of religion, how to implement, understand the human spirit comprehension. That he already knew, but he wanted to deal with people who are tough. You don't want to put them in a fire like people who are tough. What you do to them in order for them, things that are tough, what you do to them in order for you to bend it, you have to put it in fire. He didn't want to do that. That was the old style. You want to come the new style, so you have to comprehend people's mind. So he studied all those religions, Buddhism, all those religions, to come out with something. So, but before he started that, he went in the desert fasting for 40 days. Why do Jesus Christ does such a thing? Because when your spirit come in the in this body, you are subject to vulnerability and suffering. In order for you to find that inner resolve and inner ability and inner spirit, you have to do a lot of work. So he went because his spirit was already have a big awareness and enlightenment. He have a different form of spirit because it came directly from Yahweh. So that 40 days, nothing is written in the Bible telling you exactly what he was cheat there, other than when he had temptation from Lucifer. But I can tell you, those 40 days, that's where Jesus Christ discovered Yahweh very well, understood heaven, how it work, many code, many other stuff about the world. That's the time. There is not written like that in the Bible very well. But at that time, that's the same thing. When you look Muhammad from the Ismailite descendant, it's the same thing. He fast in the desert and discovered all those stuff. Went to heaven, saw all those people, the Jewish people. He saw all those folks. That's where he started writing. He came back with the five pillar of Islam, which is not really different from the Ten Commandments. Right away. So when you look 40 days, when you see how Jesus Christ rejected Lucifer, he didn't think about the way he was promised to be in heaven. He was very real. He was very real. When he had those temptations, he talked about accept Lucifer or I suffer. It was the two only option. There was no God who was going to come and intervene. Hey, this is my only son. Don't do that to him. No. It was either you accept. People who are watching that Bible series, look at it very closely. It was very real. He talked about I accept Lucifer's way or I suffer. He decided to suffer and sacrifice himself with love to be compensated later on. So we as human beings, in order for you to be a true follower of Christ, like you say, or God, you have to be able to endure suffering. Pretty much you have to be a Buddha person. I mean, Buddha is just a name that was called because that man was born he was a prince. Okay, so in India, and then he decided that he wanted to come up with, he didn't like the way things were going, theologically. So he decided to go and fast, and he suffered a lot. That's where the name of Buddha came, the one who can endure. Endure what? Suffering. So that's just the name Buddha. So you can call it any other name that really define a person who can endure. So now, in order for you to be a very true follower of God, you have to be able to endure suffering and understand that through suffering you see, you find peace and see the love of God or Jesus Christ. Suffering is part of our life. Suffering is not, it's called karma. It's the way that people define it. But suffering must exist in people's life. So that if you even put theology aside, so that you can learn from it and be a better person and improve. You don't have suffering, you will never really improve yourself because you never have challenges. You have challenges, the probability of improving yourself will be bigger. The probability of improving yourself will be 0.9 to up to 1. So that's the reason why the self-sacrifice of Jesus Christ through love is what is making God to ease his decision at this point, because people are going to think it's a joke. When you go there, there is a vase that have the blood of Jesus on it, and that blood keep link sometime a little bit and a little bit. That's actually the determination of God saying that, Jesus, you have done a good work to maintain my decision to bring up this new world that I want. But at this point, your blood is still there, alive, saving those people for your personal sacrifice and love. So our existence at this point is because of that Jesus that many people don't believe and understand yet. Let me tell you how everything is ranked, is heaven. After God, God have the infinite power. His power comes from the energy that are in the air. I explained to you how creation happened through the quantum particle, the light. God does invisible work by invisible thing that we can see in this dimension of life. So that's the reason why we must understand that when he said the verb link specific code to enhance that energy to work for the betterness of his vision. That's exactly how it goes. So I want to be very clear. Everybody have a spirit that was created by God. That spirit come to you, and you have a guardian angel who are with you. Even if you're a Chinese that practice Buddhism, it's the same thing. As long as you use that energy for good, for the goodness of human being, you should not have any problem with God at all. But when you start using that to destroy people, that's where you start having some issue with God Himself or Jesus Christ. So now, after God that uphold all that energy, that have that absolute energy, infinite power, is Jesus Christ. The power of Jesus Christ is is not infinite. It's finite compared to God. I want to be very clear about that. The power of Jesus Christ is finite compared to God. God have the infinite power. The power of Jesus Christ compared to God is infinite. Compared to us is compared to God is finite. Compared to us is infinite. So I want to be clear about that. Now, after Jesus Christ, you have the Archangel Gabriel, and then you have the Archangel Michael. Those are the people who follow. And then after them, you have a series of other angels that follow. And that's how the power degrade. So the power of the Archangel Gabriel and Michael are finite compared to Jesus Christ, but infinite compared to us. So, and it goes scope by scope to the last one. But Jesus Christ earned his place. That's the power God wanted in the beginning, because he know that human beings have that inner ability of being even greater than angel if they follow his commandment and respect him. And that's what Jesus Christ came here to show us, not just to read the Bible, but to understand exactly what it is. Suffering, the cross in which Jesus Christ lay on, represent suffering. Please, people, my dear friend, my dear fellow, understand that it does represent suffering. If somebody do not know that, I want them to know that now. It's not about he came back from the dead. No. Came back from the dead mean that after all that suffering, the glory of God still exists and still there and manifest through the eyes of human being to understand that there's somebody out there more powerful than us. But it doesn't have nothing to do with the cross which represent suffering. So the combination of suffering of Jesus Christ and love is what create Christianity. That is what create his life in this earth, his mission is what explain his life and his mission in this earth. So it's very important for people to really comprehend that there's no one no one at all in this earth, or no one in heaven, that you will go through without going through all those people, without going to Jesus Christ and Yahweh. Let me tell you, in the throne at all time, you're always gonna see Yahweh there, and you're always gonna see Jesus at all time. If they put you there for 1 million years, they're always gonna be there. But at the same time, they are also in other places. At the same time, they are also all over the place. There's nobody in that room other than those two. So when you pray, with all respect for Abraham, with all respect, when you pray for Moses, when you pray for Mary, they all have throne there. But it will go, they will take those prayer and bring it to Jesus. If you're Christian, or if you somebody who believe in God, he will go to God. And God now will get that prayer, and when his time comes, he will summon angel to go and solve that problem. When the time comes, no one can solve your problem other than those two folks, those two entities, with all due respect, those two high entity. No one. You pray for those other saint or whatever you pray, they will take those prayer, schedule a time spiritually to get into the throne and talk about it. And God will find out and say, oh, we'll get back to it. I already knew that right away, that we will get back to it. And then now he can summon Jesus to go and he can summon Jesus to do that. And Jesus now can summon any other angel or Gabriel or Michael to do the work. And then those folks, Michael or Gabriel, can now say, this angel and this angel, I want you to go and do this. So that's how you go to the channel. You can just believe I'm praying these folks. They're not. They're only two folks. So the inner resolve that the Buddhists are practicing is also fine, because they're working themselves up. They're using that energy to solve the problem with endurance. But the connectivity that God knew that those folks are using that energy and still do not have that combination between the higher energy they're talking about and me, is still there. The time will come where some of them will start transiting to Christianity or any other religion. So when the Muslim pray, what happened? It doesn't go to Jesus. It goes straight to Yahweh. I'm not talking about extremists. I'm not here. There's extremists everywhere. I'm talking about religion here. Those who follow the will of God. It goes straight to Yahweh. Those are the two religions. So the problem that you have with Israel is this: Israel is using the Torah, which is the Old Testament, and the descendant of Ishmael, that's how they call them, either the Syrian or Iranians, they're using the Quran. When you look both of them, they have the same principle. You slap me, I slap you back. So it will be difficult to find a very good compromise unless God himself intervene to ease the heart of the chosen one, the Israelite, to have compassion, and also the heart of the Ismailite people to also have compassion and less anger or vengeance against each other. That's the only way. They're using the same principle. When you look the Torah, the Old Testament and the Quran, they are very similar. The punishment of God is very harsh. The rules are very harsh, and it's very tough. And, so I'm not the one to criticize them, but I just want to say the truth. If the entire Israelite tribe were all Christian, we should have seen a difference in the approach. But because they have the right to choose to follow the ancestor who were who created that big covenants with God. They're still the chosen one, despite the fact that the descendants of Ishmael are also blessed by the same God to have a prosperous life. So they are the people to really come up with more compassion for each other in order for this to be resolved. Otherwise, I am afraid to say it. I don't want people to think I'm an evil person here. That this issue might not be resolved until the last day. I'm afraid to say that. Now, but that's the truth. That's the truth. They are the the main branch of two biggest religion in the world, Christianity and Islam. So that's the place in which we might even see more of the movement toward the end. Because it's the beginning, and that might be uh, uh, the closing trend to the end. So what I'm trying to say here is this: we follow God path accordingly, and we should be fine. People are judging other people. Um, a person is not worth, or a person is worth who he is, and not what he or she have. Humility and humility is a very powerful tool. Money is an energy that is used as a mean of exchange. That's what it is. There's nothing other than that. But when you define yourself as a person who understand humility, compassion over vengeance or forgiveness, over anger, the world should have been a more peaceful and good place for people to live in. That's what it is. So people need to comprehend. In a creation, when Lucifer was part of the three archangels, he have some knowledge, very, very influential knowledge, pretty much close like Jesus Christ have today. That's the place he had. And let me tell you the real truth here. That's the place he had. Or that's the place he's supposed to really have. That's the place he had. He had. He knew a lot of stuff. But he didn't know that he didn't know. He thought he know better than the person who created him. That's what he thought, because he have a lot of power. He have a lot of power. He knew a lot of stuff. So that's where the revolt started. When God decided to create human, taking the spirit, because angels are energy. They are other spirit in different dimension. But taking a spirit and bring it to a human body, They didn't see, so they didn't saw anything like that before. But you see a person who cannot speak and something happen compared to an angel, you know. So why they look at it and say, why are we gonna be praising these folks when actually they're worth nothing? And that's what God say. I know what you may not. You know, that's where the revolution started. And it's the truth. That's where the revolution started. The reason why God don't intervene in people's suffering, because the world got in this position since the early beginning, since the creation of Adam and Eve. So when he left, because he didn't believe God, who's so good, can really uh, uh, um, let him go. And actually, in the meantime, destroy, take some of his power, but not all, because that's the thing with the spirit. When it's created, is very difficult to um, erase it completely. So, but you can still control him if you are the person who created that. God have the power over all. He have all the energy. The entity that we cannot see even in that dimension that do the work, he have control of those. Those are the same energy that they use too. The demon and the Luciferian generals and all those folks. So the reason why God don't intervene or interfere in our suffering is because he is God. He says word. The humankind I created are worthy. I will not intervene. They will show themselves that I didn't make a mistake. Because he knew he didn't make a mistake. So he will never intervene the way that people think. So he can give a reason to Lucifer that, yeah, you were right. That's the reason why. And people still don't know that. That's the reason. He have crossed upon us. Lucifer cannot come and beat you. He can do that because he don't have control of that spirit. Unless you sell that spirit to him. Now he have, but still that he still might not have control upon that if you change the course. Because God knows what you become if you follow his path, and what you will become if you follow Lucifer's path. He can only trick you. You see, he can only trick you. He trick you so that you think that is over. You under the state of suffering. Nobody's there for you, and that's why he come up so that he can convince you to follow his path. And that's what he does. You look the way that he tried to convince Jesus Christ about uh, the some of the way of money, and also some of the principle of if you say you are the son of God, you can jump, and the angel that protecting you can save you. No, it does explain what I just said. God will never intervene. You have to use your inner ability that he gave you. Find your inner self. Connect with your inner spirit, because your inner spirit is the soul, is the essence of your life. It's what make you think. It's what make you go farther. Have that powerful imagination, and even be alive. So he decided to do that, to come here and destroy, take as many he can with him, and that's what he's doing. So, but now, with all these things that God have done, he decided to send someone who take his place over there. That person will take his place and show him otherwise. That yes, the people that I have created. Let me show you an example, because the world is weakening. I need someone who gonna come in and show to the world how difficult, how tough the human body can be, and how intelligent a human body can be. So he sent Jesus here to do that. At the same time, he did the same thing for Muhammad out there, from the Ishmaelite people. So this was just a way to say suffering is okay, as long as you enjoy it and you learn from it and move forward in the right direction. What I'm saying is not imagination. If you look all the readings, everything I have said, you find that as the truth, and you find it clearly understandable, and that there's no imagination here. There's nothing that I brought from nowhere. People are gonna say, how does he know? We watching him, maybe how does he say that how does he know all those stuff? Your heart and your mind, your work, your endurance, your suffering will connect you to the Holy Father and to Jesus Christ, and open your door to heaven. But you have to earn it. You have to work for it. It's not just given. You can go to church. Again, church is a good thing, but that's not what God look. But that's not the only thing God look. He does look your heart and what kind of person you are. As long as you put God first and Jesus Christ in everything you do, you are in the right path. Regardless of the judgment from human atrocity and egoism and way of thinking. Because the human way of thinking always interfere with how people have to act right. I'm here today. I'm suffering, and even people who go to church every day, don't have the right to open their mouth and say this is not right. You are a follower of God or Jesus. You should be able to say the truth. That's why Jesus Christ didn't stay quiet. He was not quiet. Look the Bible. He was talking about the truth every single time. He was saying the truth. He never stayed quiet. You know that he does not know about something. He always said the truth about what he believed. I want those people to say the truth. Speak about the truth. If there's any violation of the law, speak about it. Don't stay quiet. I receive stuff here from people. If you need transportation, if you need food, if you need this and that. How long this gonna go? How many transportation you gonna be giving me? I never requested one. How many food you gonna give me? For how long? I'm 34. Are you gonna be around for 50 years? Because I promise you, I still have 50 years on this earth. Maybe you respond to me. I need prosperity. I need you to speak the truth. Let me have my life. Let me have a better contract job. Let me fulfill my life, so I don't have to depend on you. I don't understand this life. I mean, I understand this life, but I still don't understand what people who have the sense Of knowing God, they say they know God, but I understand what kind of God they say they know. Every single person who have discovered God or are famous in the Bible have done it, or any holy Bible have done it through suffering. Suffering is a way to find God, because you are in a state of vulnerability in which door open for Lucifer. Let me tell you, and this is the truth, God always have two angels behind you. His angel. You have your archangel, and you have another angel that take the message up and down, up and down, up and down. You know, you take the message, bring it up, and it go fast, because this, you know, 187 billion of trillion miles away. More than that, because that's the second heaven. The third one is a little bit more than that. Is a little bit, you know. So that's where you get. Okay, you better do that every single time. They don't speak too loud. I'm still working on it to manage my anger, or to manage my anxiety and all this stuff. But I still do not, because when I know the truth, and I see how people are acting, I can let it. I was, my spirit was not born like that, and God knows that. I have to speak. They have to. They're always gonna tell you, don't do it, or do it, and they're always gonna speak very. This is a teaching that I'm giving you. They're always gonna say that very slow and only one time. They're not gonna repeat it, because they are there with the other angel from Lucifer, and Lucifer doubled those angels. So if God sent two, Lucifer have four. And the angel of Lucifer will be saying, yes, do it, do it. Yeah, hit him now. Do that, man. Come on. And that's why people follow. This is the teaching. This is the self-control I'm teaching you here. I'm working on it myself. So they find your weakness. That's what they use. Yeah, do it, man. Do it. Come on, come on. You lazy man. Somebody like that can beat you. Oh, what? You know, why does he do better than you? You know? Go and do this to him, you know? Kill him, shoot him, you know? Go and steal. And you're gonna hear one voice. Don't do it. And that voice never came back. That's the reason why people never comprehend, and they're acting. And when you're done, you come back to that initial voice. Oh, I should have not done it. It's late. You have to face the consequences. You know, so that's the point. I want people to really comprehend. I'm start teaching you something here, because that's this. If you have a fingerprint in everything you have, you do not live in a holy world. This is not paradise. I want people to know that. The clothes you wear, the seat you sit in, everything you touch have Lucifer's signature on it. Do not, in any illusion, think that you are in paradise. You are not. You're living in a world in which Lucifer have most of the control, even though that he doesn't have total control, but physically he does. He using people in power. He using people to do his work. He using people to do his work. That's what he does. He can read the future too, but he have a limit. If you reject him, he'll go away from you. But he will make your life tougher in this earth. That's what he did to Jesus. But what he didn't comprehend, that Jesus came here for a mission. He will make your life tough in this earth. Trust me. He know how to manipulate people's spirit too. I already told you. He sent double of what God sent. But why God allow it? God have many as many people as he does. But what God allow it to happen? Because God don't want to do like him. He's bigger than that. Because at the end, we always come back to God's way. I should have not done it. I was taking drug last time, I was doing this, I was doing that. We always come back to that in time. In time. Again, in time. We always come back to God's path. Everyone. After we are done with all the craziness and madness and stuff, envy, jealousy, atheism, anger, we always come back to that in time. In time. I should have not hate that guy because, I'm doing my life here. That was my business doing that. We always come back to that. That's the time. That's what I'm talking about. So don't see someone and say that person, his life is over, or that person. No, suffering have a place. Everybody will go to church. Need to comprehend that. At the time when Jesus Christ was on this earth, the real story, if they really see you, how many demons was around when they were killing him? Yeah, kill him. Put that nail in there. Yeah. He want to come here and try to destroy our agenda. Who do you think he is? That's what was happening. But they use human in power and authority to do that. That's what they do. So the thing is, I'm not saying that I'm a perfect man. I am not. But everyone who is destroying the human creation, if you have not learned it, is the hardest punishment in the eyes of God. I can promise you that you will not avoid it. If you have done harm to anyone, like I'm talking and directly to the people who keep hurting me, it is time for you to really ask for salvation, whatever religion you are. The destruction of a humankind, God will punish you in a degree that you have never seen in time. Be very careful. And I'm saying that very clearly, because that are his work and you destroying it. Do any other thing, but don't try to destroy his creation. I don't want to go to abortion. I don't want to go to all this stuff. I'm talking about destroying a human being by poisoning, try to inflict something is the harder crime in a global court, which is the court of Yahweh. When you go there, you don't have any justification. In fact, you will descend. You don't going to ascend. And you'll find out what it is in your suffering over there. It's very simple. I'm still having people try to say, oh, he's poor, he don't have nothing, he probably gonna steal, he probably gonna break a bank. That's the reason why it's not that I'm mocking to go to church. That's the reason why I don't go to church, because I know a lot of truth. I have built up my covenant with God more stronger than ever in Jesus Christ. You do not know about my finance. You do not know about me. But you are judging me before my eyes. I believe that everything I keep saying here, people don't listen to it. They're listening, and sometimes they do like they don't. I told you how I was raised. My father was working, but I was doing retail work, buying stuff and retailing when I was at the age of 9. That's where I started. It didn't end there. I did it for about 10 years. So it is not here that I'm going to transform myself to a thief or somebody and people. I don't. It's not me. If I should have revolt, that's when I was still, when I knew my father had something. Why do I do that for? But I decided, with his wisdom, the family wisdom, and his wife, to follow that path, because it was preparing me for this kind of difficulty that I'm in today. God don't do stuff just for fun. He does it for a reason, and only time always resolve that uncertainty. I do not go out there try to steal something from somebody. I don't do those kind of stuff. I knew the value of money when I was 9, working miles over miles. If I have to you know, transform those units. Or convert those units from, I was working just to have maybe a dime, just to have, and I end up having $20, $25 equivalent exchange, $30, $50. I hard work. And you guys are gonna come and tell me today that I'm gonna go and steal broke a bank. You don't know who I am. I keep telling you that. Mistaking identity. It's time for you to change that path and give me an opportunity to move forward. You have mistaken about me. What is difficult for you to understand it and press on? And let me do the work of God. I went today, like I said in the beginning. People were saying, is that the same guy? Yeah, they were expecting a dirty guy, smelling guys, bad tooth, crazy face, twisted eyes. That's what they were expecting. And I said to them, yeah, go again and ask them to give you the right information, because it seems like you do not have that right information. This is the kind of defamation that I'm living in here. That's what I'm asking. Like I said in my last weekly address to the leaders, to take appropriate action. I want them to take appropriate action, because this matter is going out of sight. Is going in a level where they will not have control anymore in the future. But I'm also stating to people who say that they believe in God and follow Christ, to say the truth. We have a moral and constitution in this country. I want them to speak about it, not just to send me. With all the respect I have for them, I'm not trying to minimize their work and effort. But what I'm saying here is not solving my real issue. My real issue is addressing the problem. Fighting for peace, fighting for human rights, and fighting for prosperity for everyone including the poor. So you can always, honestly, you can always come in and try to say to somebody, this is a dime, go and take off yourself every single day, rather than saying, oh, I have a contract there for your expertise of work that you're doing. I mean, go forward and show yourself that you can do it. That's what helping somebody. That's what God look. Make the person prosper. Let him do the life that I created him for. Or somebody tried to call me, oh, it's time, I'm sick, I want to go to the hospital. I mean, the person is telling me, oh, you're sick, you want to go to the hospital too. I believe that I'm very clear. I told you that year last time. I will not put my foot in a hospital as long as the Holy Spirit keep telling me that it's human made. I do not go with fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. I don't go with that. False evidence appearing real. So that's what it is. I know the potential God gave me. I know my prayer. No human have created or can create a human being. No human will ever create a human being. This is written. If it's not written here, it's a decree in heaven. No human will ever know how to create any human being. The work that God have done, no human will ever be able to do that. We will never gonna be able to create planets. We will never gonna be able to create any human being. We must know our limit. Do not come and try to destroy a creation that you have not created. It's not belong to you. You don't even know how to create it, but you want to destroy it. And then sometimes I'm looking, when you go home, with all the respect I have for you and your family, when you go home, how do you look your kids? Well, do you ever ask a question, what happened if my son or my daughter was that guy? Do you ever ask that question? I want you to really ask that question. Please, with all the respect I have for you and your family, please ask that question. What if this guy was my brother or was my son? Do you believe that my father is just out there? Yeah, I want you to hate this guy. Yeah. No, he does have the same pain as you do have for your kids. He does have the same pain. He's not different. God is not different. Jesus Christ is not different. Abraham is not different. Whatever he does, Moses is not different. All those folks that you're praying for, they are not all different. Because they know the truth. They know what's going on. You're gonna come and tell me I never deviate from God. That's the reason why I'm still alive. And I want to tell you that. I never deviate from God. He's always there. How do I survive? If God is open your heart, God will never gonna come to you. Just follow the Bible. God like peace. He like tranquility. He don't like turbulence. Turbulence are the way of evil. Watch very carefully the movie Bible. There's similarity in what I keep saying, in what I was told. I told you last time, when Jesus Christ arrived, everything will stop. Listen to the way Gabriel spoke to Mary or to Joseph. Everything stop. He will divert you from the direction it is, or you're gonna do other stuff. If you will try to come to where he is, something will happen. You will go back. His message, he didn't say to people, I want you all to come here, I have a news for you. No. He spoke to that specific person. You have to be very careful. Tranquility and peace. No, staying there, rushing people what he does, that's the way of evil. That's how Lucifer does. He came and trick you. That's the way of Lucifer. I'm telling you that now. I am subject to Lucifer too, but I'm fighting him. Yeah, I understand all this stuff. Those are the key I'm telling you. Spending your time trying to find what the other person is doing, that's the way of Lucifer. You have to stop it. It's not the way of God. Who ever told you that? You open any book that God is saying you have to watch people, what they're doing. You come and tell me. But I'm pretty sure if you go in the Bible of Lucifer, you'll find it. Because that's the only way. Either we act like God want, or either we act like Lucifer want. That's the only truth. People, I am very open. I am here, and people believe, it's over, it's done. No, I am not. I'm still alive. God have a way. He opened a way. You can find this. You can read any kind of resources. God have a way. He will never present himself to come and solve problem. He spoke to Joseph. When Joseph was doubting Mary, he spoke to Mary. That's what he does. But Joseph was free to say, I don't believe you. That's what people are doing today. Because God is speaking a different way. People want God to come and show up. Like, no. Help this guy. You refuse. And then you're going to start saying that, oh, I don't know what kind of bad luck the guy have. No. You are part of the bad luck. Because you don't want it to do. You don't want to follow that voice. You don't want it to follow the real you. So he used other way. You don't want to help this guy? Okay, that's fine. I'll find a different way. How he can be helped, because he have to fulfill my vision like I did it for everyone else. If you don't want him to survive, you also have to make sure that the sun don't rise up tomorrow, because those are stuff that need to be done. I ask you a question. You guys are thinking that there's something. I am not a genius. You told me in your hypothesis that you believe in, one kid that have the criteria of the hypothesis of what you believe can earn a degree that I have. If you find one, you come and tell me. With your imagination that you have in your brain, you come and tell me if you don't have any preparation. I have earned my work. And I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm saying. But what I also know and what I learned from this, with all the suffering that people are pretending you guys want to do with my life, but if God was as bad as us human beings, that in a state of nature we have that darkness of accepting anger, accepting vengeance, envy to others. If he has that by holding that Bible or whatever holy book, your hand should be burning. That's what it is. If he was like us human, so I reason here. I don't talk because I'm a perfect person. I am not. I just told you that I am not a perfect person, but I am able to tell you what I learned and what I have uh, endured during my during this period, the experience that I have. You know, so those are the real truth. We cannot go away from it. We must respect creation and understand creation. The reason why I'm talking about global ecology and quantum physics and quantum mechanics, because to understand the environment, you have to understand those stuff. To really be a professional in those in the environment, you have to understand this stuff. God worry about the environment. That's why God created trees, the ecosystem, to complement the other being, which are us. They need carbon dioxide. We need oxygen. That was not just happened by coincidence. That trees need to have carbon dioxide to function with minerals. It didn't happen by coincidence. It happened for a reason. Because you know, if the environment is not healthy, people will not be healthy in the long term. And if people are not healthy, nothing will happen. An example: if a doctor is not, if there's no doctor, if every doctor is sick, we're gonna be caring for other people. It's just an example. I give you many examples last time. If even let's say if I'm sick, am I gonna be talking? No. So the environment have an importance. Health of people is a priority. That's why in heaven everybody look magnificently healthy. There's not even a word for it. The health of the environment is screamingly, astonishingly, healthy. I'm looking at a word because there's no word to describe. You have to understand those kind of things. The health of human being is important. The environment is important. That's the reason why I choose the environment. Use statistical approach to solve environmental issues, to solve other issues. We all use statistics to do everything. We probably don't know that. In everything we do. If I have 2 kids, 3 kids, how do I gonna be surviving? If my wife is using this and that too much, how do I gonna be able to pay the mortgage if I spend this every time? Those are statistics. Those are methods. Those are algorithm to solve problems. People must know Yahweh is the first engineer, the first scientist, the first physicist, the first doctor. Every single knowledge that we have here. We don't even have close to what we will never have close to what they have as a science. So those are stuff that we must know. We must know our limit. But prosperity for everyone, the world in which God have always wanted. That's why He wanted for us. That's what He wanted for us. It was very simple. The only thing I'm asking is for help for every single person out there, every single person, to come and help me in this new mission. Either you are a wealthy person, either you are a poor person, either you are a president or actor or actress, to come and help me to fulfill, to be part of history. I am starting a new movement to start the work for the avenue of Jesus Christ back here in time to come. The new world in which everybody should be wealthy, healthy, live peacefully and safely. Everyone, including the poor. There are other people that were touched by the Holy Spirit, chosen by God to do that. That work. To start putting the ground for that. People are going to believe, no, it will never going to happen. It will never going to happen. This is just people coming with imagination. I want the people to look very closely. There's no coincidence that science, quantum physics, quantum mechanics start realizing that there's no way galaxy can be formed, life can be formed the way it is today if there's nothing above the knowledge we have. Go and ask them. In an extreme analytical approach, they will tell you that. For people who are honest, not people who want to be egocentric, like, I have them multiple knowledge, I can't really say that. No, they will tell you that here we can really explain to you exactly how this happened. And you're gonna hear about, read the Bible, read all the book, the Torah, Quran, the Bible, even the Buddhist holy book. They're talking about stuff that are pretty much similar. They know about heaven. They're talking about the God and heaven. They're talking about all this stuff. Those things exist. But only through suffering that you can find the way. Even when you look some big elite in Buddhist history, those people have suffered too, to discover the inner self and improve themselves, find the inner resolve to change themselves and change the environment and the world that surround them. A simple human sacrifice and that enhance a human revolution to change the world, the destiny of a nation or and the entire world in time. We should retouch and revise our approach on how we handle issue, not to bring or not to put vengeance first, or not to put anger first, but to realize that that other human being is like me. Despite the fact that I do not like him, I wish him happiness and prosperity and peace of heart. If everybody does that, the world will be a more better place. But we have people out here who don't have that sense, that tendency of comprehending that approach. Yes, we all have that egocentric thing that we should be first, we should be the one, we should be the most intelligent one. Why that man? What him? Yes, of course. Why Jesus? Let's even go further. Why God? Why not you? You answer that question, you can hate the next person. You don't answer it, you take the thing the way they come and try to work in it and endure it and take it the way it is. You know? I'm taking the thing the way they're coming. I'm not going out there try to hurt people. I'm not going to go purchase a gun. No, that's not the way. Violence is not the way. Transforming myself, find my inner resolve, my inner spirit to solve my problem and strengthen my bond with the Holy Spirit is the way. Whatever help will come to me to assist me to battle the demon will be welcome. That follow God path. Because that's what it is. We always wanted to think that our way is the right way. No, God's way is the right way. Because before we resolve our egocentric approach to realize our own envy, we should ask a question. Is that really fair if I was that person itself or himself? Will I allow people to come and put poison in my food or my drink and drink it? You answer that question, you can do that the next time. You're welcome. I work hard to where I am today. I start from nothing. Right away, I have experienced a more tougher life than people can imagine. Yeah. I came here, no family. People try to use me. I decide to go my way without any problem against them. I am so open to their to the belief. They have the right to believe whatever they believe, and I wish that God give them path. That everything that they're doing, don't go upon their generation. That they are the only one to go with it. I pray for that. Because maybe today I'm paying what my ancestors have done. Because somebody have to pay that. So I can find a way for the next generation and for the entire family. That's what the Jews have done. The year of slavery was through what? Through the fact that some of their ancestors deviate from the path, the guidance of God. And they have to go to that in order for them to come back to reason. That's the fact. So it's not a a right place to condemn people for no reason. People are saying, I've never been arrested or jailed for nothing. I can tell you that I'm not a perfect man, but I wanted to make sure about that people understand. I have never been arrested or jailed. Never been involved in anything, in any drug, nothing. I don't smoke, I don't drink. There's no reason why I should always have those chemical in my blood and all this stuff. It doesn't happen magically. You guys know what's happening. You know exactly what's going on. And some people say, "Oh, yeah, he got an empty brain. He don't even know himself." Yeah, of course, I do know myself. I know who I am. I am somebody who's fighting for his better life, prosperity, and you guys are interfering with that. That's who I am. You guys are blocking the way of God. You guys are interfering with the way of God. You find anything that I have said that deviate from what people or toward what people are judging me for. And they never really came um, directly to address those issues. They always go behind and address those issues. I'm not a perfect man, but what I do believe is that we should all come and walk alone and live alone and understand that other person should follow the dream and become whatever they are today, even if they make millions, even if they have a better life than us. It's all fine. It's for a reason. But people are more concerned about me not be able to have even a dime. I have people that are more concerned about me becoming a father, becoming a kid. Yeah. How do I gonna do that? With rocks? I wish rock become money. There's many of rocks all out there on the street. You have to have a financial stability. You know? People are more worried about that. They're not even worried about how do this guy gonna have to fix his financial stability and move on. People believe I'm here to be the slave. But let me tell you something. You are mistaken about me. I am far from being your inferior. I am here to follow God's path. I will become your inferior when I give you the permission to do so. But at this time, you do not. So you have to stop treating me like your inferior. Because I don't treat you as my inferior. In my eyes, I believe that everybody have the potential of becoming whatever they wanted to become. Every kid that come in this earth come with a spirit. And they will start using and manifesting their own desire. That will not always be the desire of their parent. That's the truth. because that desire is specifically for that kid, and that desire must be manifest, because that's why God brought him here. Otherwise, that was the reason why God sent him here. Do not stop the desire of a kid. Do not try to change it. You can help him polish it to the will of God, but don't try to change it. You will destroy it. You will destroy that kid. You will destroy the relation. Every person that come here have that characteristic upon them, upon their spirit, and that spirit have a mission, and that mission will start manifesting in some point in time when that kid will start growing, and he will manifest it. It might be different, completely different from what you have ever imagined from him, but that's what it is. You have to accept it, because your position is that you have just helped God to proceed with his vision for earth. Yeah, that's what it is. With all due respect. So the point is, I have people thinking that you wanted to believe, I am a very simplistic person, and I'm also very realistic. I am not imaginistic like people always believe. I am idealistic and pragmatic. That's the kind of person I am. You wanted to believe and think that I do not want it to be. I always come back to that. Always. I wanted to have the vision that I have, what I wanted to achieve now, like I told you. This was official of my mission on this earth. There are other few choosing one, but there are not enough of them. I know I will be giving the list. I'll be told the list one day to walk into this world. What God wants me to do. Position will happen. I will need money to fulfill that work, and God will provide in His time. I will need a stronger woman, and God will provide in His time. I do not, with all due respect, I don't need just a companion. I need a comrade, a partner, somebody who have that expectation. This is a very serious matter. I am 34-year-old, and I believe that I still have a life ahead of me, that I can procreate, have kids of my own, and follow my linear path in life and continue the mission. But it will be in its time. A woman that have stability within my age range, that comprehend certain concept of life, that comprehend creation, that comprehend that God is the God that have control of every single energy. The use of energy, of that energy in the good of people kind, is the will of God. The invisible is always magical to human, but the invisible is what make the world move, is what make us alive. Until we comprehend that, we will always have problems among us, between us, and comprehension over incomprehension. That will open the door to Lucifer to come in for division, or for more division, more and more. I don't go out there on the street to shop for women. I always say that. I'm very serious today. Because last time I said that I have that gift. No, I have that gift, but let me explain to you exactly what it is. I have the ability of reading heart and choosing, and always my choice are always been a very perfect choice in terms of women. This doesn't have nothing to do with biasing of discriminating against women. I believe that all creatures are beautiful, but we all have our own desire. It's the last of my problems, because when a woman will come in your life, you don't have to look for it. He will follow you. You're the one who's going to be running from it. You don't have to force for that. That's a simple principle. Things that are meant to be will be. Things that are not meant to be will be. It's as simple as that. There's a reason why people get married, divorce after one day, divorce after 1 month. Some people get married, divorce after 30 years. Some people get married, stay for life. It's not a coincidence. It was meant to be. So I was not ready to depend on anybody. As of today, you probably know, you probably all know about it. A woman will come in my life. I don't want her to even think that I will need her dime. It doesn't mean that collaboration and cooperation might not exist, but that's not my primary concern. My primary concern is partnership and understanding each other to move forward. I was raised to find and understand, to realize stuff. I know the value of money, whether I was 9, 10 years old. I contacted many people earlier in the beginning, or many stars that they know. I don't have any criticism against them. I just believe that they have been influenced by the people after me, by this government. And I want no one to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to hide. Except that, maybe. It's very simple. I'm having people coming every time, try to think that the difficulties that I have is based on what I've done. No, it's based on human egocentricity. that they someone that they don't want me to progress. That's it. That's what that's all. There's no such a thing like that people can imagine. There's a reason why I asked to the leaders of this country to take appropriate action, to the executive power and the legislative power, judiciary power, to come together and remove my name out of this community watch list and let me live my life. I can sign a contract with them to watch me on only high security level, not be watched by the community. If that's what they want, because it seems that that's what they want. But to let me live my life. Let me have the opportunity I have. Not call behind and start saying stuff. Don't hire him, don't do this, you have this, you have that. No. I have the potential. I have the potential to proceed, to be where I should be. We have a lot of work to do in this earth. A lot of work. It's getting close and close to what the New Testament has said, Jesus Christ has said. It's getting close and close. People are worrying about themselves more and more than ever before in the history of this earth. People, even people in your own family, they're worrying about themselves more and more than ever. But they will play political social life to make it think that is not the case. But it is. This is how the evil is taking the world. Division. He will make you hate the other person for reasons that you cannot even explain yourself. I'm talking about reason, not that I heard. You know, two different things. I heard or he have done, two different things. Even if he have done, you have to forgive. Always ask a question: what happened if I was in that person's place? Can I take, or can I support that burden? If you answer the question, yes, you can go forward with your action. But if you cannot answer the question, do the right thing. I have those folks coming and talking stuff that they don't even comprehend themselves. You're gonna hate a single individual? You're holding the Bible? That because the people who have killed Jesus Christ were different people? No. They were human, like us. It was different time, but it was the same order. You have the leaders who give commandment. Remember when Ponce Pilate was sitting down with the son of Aaron, telling him, make sure that you control your, you know, your so-called Messiah. What happened to John the Baptist? His head get cut off. That's what it is. It's human. The same thing you are doing today is what happened 2,000 years ago. There's no difference. You think that it was just an episode that Jesus Christ came and do his work and they film him and they say, okay, you did a good job, man. No. It's the same manifestation of what we're doing today. So by reading that Bible, by reading all those biblical holy Bible or holy book, we have to make sure that it's not a joke. It's the same thing that we're doing today. And that's the reason why we have not solved the problems in this earth. They keep adding up and we don't comprehend it. Because we always think that the Bible is history. No, it's repetitive. It's repetitive. Haterism, jealousy, anger, vengeance. Other than acceptance, compassion, and forgiveness. It's what it is. I am more dedicated to work with everyone. I am completely healthy. And I want no woman to fear that fell within my criteria. I am very selective. I want to be very, I am not an egocentric person. I am a truthful person. I say the truth. I don't want to waste any person time. So when you're not within the scale, I told you that in advance so that we don't have a problem. I am open to any relationship that will fit in accordance to the mission that God devoted to me, that I mentioned earlier in this weekly address. You know, it's very simple. People might think that I'm talking too much, but I'm saying stuff that keep coming back. People don't want to listen to this. They refuse to listen. They might say it's noisy, they might say it's this and that, but it is the truth that I'm saying because we keep going back. We keep going back. I keep saying to people, I am educating myself more and more. There's no question anymore about my education because I have no fear to educate myself. So you cannot question my education anymore. I do not fear to learn because I'm still learning. So do not question my education anymore. You question the education of somebody who refused or have the ability to continue. That's all. It's what it is. There's nothing else. It's all. So simple. You know? So we have to be very, 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 very honest with ourselves. The guidance that I have, the way that I live my life is the way of God. I respect every single humankind. I respect every will of, everybody. But when people interfere with my happiness, I have to speak the truth. I have to tell them what is going wrong. I am not just a believer because I have to believe. I have suffered. I have lived with the poor. I have grown up like a poor individual. I have suffered in this country till today. I don't believe, let me tell you the truth now, that any single person with all my happy heart, even if my face do not match my heart. Don't be confused about it. Okay? There's no one who can endure or easily get out of this situation. I came in this country and I sleep on the street. I sleep in shelters for you're talking about days, weeks. I have a profile that follow me, a false evidence appearing real that follow me for a long time till today. I am asking a revision of that profile and removal of that profile with compensation, because it has caused me to have what you guys want me to have. Family. How do I gonna have that? My kid been born in this madness, and think that the father is a monster when he's not. And then when they're gonna start going to school, they're gonna start teaching them those all those devil or evil thinking. Like I can see how you guys, with all the respect I have for you, you guys are teaching those kids about me when I'm walking on the street. Is that the way we should teach our kids? With all the respect I have for you, you think that you're protecting your kid, but you're teaching them how to hate other people. With all the respect, we have to be very careful how we deal with stuff here. I have not been judged to be guilty of anything. You cannot judge me like I'm a criminal when I am not. We have to be very careful. It's a very real thing. God is a living God. I can promise you that. He's here. He's watching every single thing that we are doing. Every single thing. That's the reason why when you die, you have your entire film presented to you. Your entire film. So you don't even have to find any excuse. It will be there. It will be there. You will not avoid it. Trust me. You have to start preparing yourself for it. Every single thing you have done, even coming here in my house, you're going to see that there. Taking tire off of my wheel, you're going to see that there. Mixing on my car to give me some, you're going to see that there. As well as me, everything, I'll see that there. I already seen it anyway, part of it. So don't think that everything you're doing, you be loving Son of God, you have this and that. God love us all. No, God have a love based on how you respond to Him. You don't serve Him well, you don't follow His way. He gonna do the same thing to you, even though that He love you unconditionally. But He have to make you learn and get to know Him better. What you give to Him is what He will give to you. Small. You give to Him small, He gonna give you small. You give to Him big, He gonna give you big. That's the way it does. You hurting people, go to church thinking that it's okay. You're gonna, that's why I say this. There is conspicuous prayer for conspicuous outcome. There's conspicuous prayer for inconspicuous outcome. There are inconspicuous prayer for inconspicuous outcome. There are inconspicuous prayer for conspicuous outcome. Why? Because God has his own time. Sometimes you can pray today and you have the result without thinking that that prayer that you pray was something that was already premeditated a long time ago. Sometimes you can pray and don't have a result because of what? God have his time. You have to wait sometime, and you have to wait. As of now, people should know that this guy is dedicated to his mission. Please leave him alone. How can we help him to really do whatever he want to do, so he can go away from us? You don't do that. Don't expect a different answer. We're going to start doing the same thing all over again, all over again, all over again, and we're going to start thinking, what the heck is going on here? Because we just don't want to do the right thing. Don't try to destroy a human life. Exclusively someone who have not done nothing to you. I have not done nothing to anyone. People have violated their own constitution to come after me. People have violated their own constitution to come after me. So it's very simple. Very simple. I am very open to everybody, everyone. I have no hatred against no one. As you can see, I just wanted to have my prosperity and my pursuit of happiness. Very soon, 11 years is a lot and enough. You want to try to show me, oh, people who just came in, they have this, they have that. No. No one can survive like I have done and still doing with the profile that I have. No one. Maybe few. So don't be happy of thinking that you have done better than I. No. You don't have the same profile that I have. You know, you even know better than I. People are blocking me to move forward. That's the reason why you have that slight advance over me. But don't think that you're better than me because you're part of it. You're part of it. I say again, with all due respect, everyone knows God will never interfere directly to human problems. He will use other human to help and solve. Don't get it confused. It's the truth. And that's the new manifestation of God till he return. He have chosen one that he manifests himself, but not everyone. I say again, you give, that's how you receive. You decreasing people tire and expect God to show up and help you? Maybe you are the one hallucinating. You putting poison in people's food and destroy people's future and thinking God gonna help you and appear to you. Maybe Lucifer will appear instead. You showing your kid how to hate other people and be and tomorrow you're gonna presume having a different result. No, you have caused it. We should all learn how to follow God's path. I'm learning myself. I'm trying to learn my anger, my frustration that comes from all of this, and God understands it. Jesus Christ or God will never gonna help you directly. He gonna use other folks to help you. We are not perfect human. We all make mistakes. We all sin. We all are sinners. We will come here and say this and say that, but at the end, we do otherwise. We follow the law. We're going behind. We don't follow the law. Almost 11 years after, the same thing. There's no war. I just told you the mission. I'm going for a preparation, wherever my position will be in this earth, to do God work, to prepare the avenue of Jesus. That's what it is. That's how the world will be. That's how people will be living. Everyone will be wealthy, healthy, living safe, and with peace. People will have a high understanding of principle. Not controlled by human being, but by principle. The principles of life, respect of humankind, and the pursuit for happiness will be the guide that will control leaders to follow. The main purpose of a government is to protect the people and to enhance avenue for the prosperity. They don't do that, they are failing the duty. That's the main reason, and that's the purpose of the new world. That's how it is in heaven. Like when people pray and chant that song. And that's how God initially created earth before revolution. We must respect each other and have each other have the prosperity. I've given you my intention. My intention are not to destroy human being. My intention are not to hate human being. I like my discretion. I like my peace. God love peace. You don't go to the throne of God and see people dancing music around. You don't. It doesn't exist. Don't blame me if I like my distance. God, He's in His throne by Himself. You don't see no kid around. You see Jesus. But it doesn't mean that He doesn't like no one. It's just the way it is. He is with everyone to spirit. I am with everyone to my spirit. And I love everyone as I love myself. I do not have to go and waste a time with people who don't like me in the first place. So it's a very simple principle. And I want people to understand that. I am a total different person. This suffering have put me in a level in which I consolidate my covenant with the Holy Yahweh, the infinite power. Again, Jesus is not God. Jesus do the work of Yahweh. I explained that to you. Don't ever mistake that. Do not call Jesus God. Jesus is Jesus. Jesus never said, I will sit in the throne of my Father. He said, I will sit in the right side. Please interpret that Bible very carefully. Do not confuse word here. Because when I heard those kind of stuff, I'm not happy about it. You have the Bible in front of you. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to read it and understand it. Somebody is saying, I will be sitting in the right side of my Holy Father. Nobody go to God except through me. And people start saying it's God. The Son, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit is just, that's true. The Holy Spirit is what does the work. When you go, let me explain to you, when you go to the throne, the Father is there, the Son is there, which is Jesus on the right side, and the Holy Spirit is there because the Holy Spirit is what does the work. That's what I call invisible entities. Don't confuse word. And people who are praying in the name of Mary, with all due respect, she does not have any power other than to Jesus and God, other than to God and Jesus. I can promise you that. With all the respect I have for you, it's simple to comprehend. You can pray for her, but remember to add an adjective, Jesus or God, into that prayer. Because what she gonna do? She gonna make an appointment to the throne and refer your prayer. So whatever happened, you always go to that to Jesus and God. That's what it is, and that's the truth. You don't want to believe it? You can believe whatever you believe, but that's the truth. You find out. I am very, very serious. My work is holy, and I need the money and the rightful woman to complete that work. God will provide the right one when the time comes. Either she's rich or either whatever she is, she have to fit the criteria. I don't care about the money. I'm running a multi-million dollar company. She will come. He's still gonna be there to fulfill God's work. So she can't say that I'm a lazy man, sleeping here and just looking for money. So that's it. I wish that everyone, President, the Pope Francis, and every other leader can join me in this new revolution that I just specify to start to work for the avenue of Jesus Christ back on this earth. This is not hallucination, this is not a joke. This is real. It might not be in our time, but it will be coming. And my mission is to start it. There are some other people that was touched by the Holy Spirit, through the command of God to start that work. Maybe the Pope is one of them. I'll be informed about it. I wanted to make sure that you comprehend this. It's not laziness, it's a truth, and you just have to believe into it and help me start the work. Thank you very much. I will be willing to work with all Israelites who help me to do this. Any Ishmael descendant who have the good willing for, everyone who have the good willing for the well-being of humankind, even the Israelites, if they have the well-being. Everyone who have the well-being to implement the work and reject Lucifer will be welcome. I have rejected Lucifer after 3 days of fight in my life. He know even if I have his money, I will not do his work. That's the reason why. He knows that. I will never gonna do his work. I have experienced Lucifer myself, like Jesus Christ have done. This is not a joke. It's the truth. And since that day, that's where my suffering started. Till today. So this is not a joke. This is the truth. And I want people to know that. This is the pure truth. I fought against Lucifer for 3 days. He appeared to me the third days. And I challenged him. And he never came back. But he's manifesting the way he promised. He will make me suffer. He showed me that he's the master of this earth. I told him to go ahead. And I'm still fighting. He's using you. He's using people to destroy others. At the end, mankind are his own enemy. We are our own enemy at the end. Because we're gonna criticize Lucifer every time. Maybe it's not the faulty one. Maybe it's us. Because if you reject him, like Jesus Christ have done, he will go away. And he's gonna live his miserable life in that whatever it is. By himself. That's what God mean. I'm learning everything to understand this life and concept. Learn, and you will never gonna be blind. Learn, and you will understand God more better. You will understand the creation and respect human creation and human being more and ever. Until now, without further ado, I will see you next week, if God bless. I have other theme that I will be covering. More importantly, it will be announced. Thank you. May God bless.